Iran exported little more than 1 million barrels of oil a day before the nuclear deal, and its top 4 customers were in Asia. Nuclear sanctions were lifted. Iranian exports have now more than doubled, but these 4 Asian nations still consume a big share. That goes some way to explaining the significance of reports that India, Japan, even South Korea are heeding the US demand to stop importing Iranian oil, and why Iran is now threatening to block the Strait of Hormuz, the vital seaway for the world's #1 oil exporter, Saudi Arabia, as well as Iran's other oil-producing rivals in the Gulf. Donald Trump withdrew from the Iran nuclear deal 2 months ago.
We will not allow a regime that chants death to America to gain access to the most deadly weapons on earth.
He warned countries to halt Iranian oil imports by November, when new sanctions start, and threatened US financial restrictions that could make accessing crude oil even more difficult. US allies in Asia are having to consider their close ties with the US against their need for a reliable flow of oil. Financial experts at Reuters and Bloomberg Wire Services quote shipping and industry sources who say Asian countries are being swayed by Trump's threats. The sources report India's oil imports from Iran slowed by almost 16% in June. Some oil refineries in India and in Japan have begun scouting alternative suppliers, and September oil cargoes from Iran to Japan could be the last. South Korea has already made cuts of 30%, but Iran's #1 customer, China, is locked in an escalating trade war with the US. China says it won't comply with US sanctions on Iran. But others will be looking for new suppliers. An OPEC resolution last month, championed by US ally Saudi Arabia, allows oil-producing nations to boost production, ensuring countries, in the Middle East at least, are ready to make up the Iranian oil shortfall. Which brings us back to Iran and its threat to block the Strait of Hormuz. It could account for an apparent softening of the US stance on Iran this week. Speaking from the United Arab Emirates, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo signalled the possibility of sanctions exemptions, saying the US is open to requests for the tough US measures due to start in November to be waived.